Hello, good evening, and welcome to this Grammar Getters taster session. This is to give you an idea of what Grammar Getters is like, and hopefully you're going to go away from this class today loving grammar a little bit more than before, and having a better understanding of this session's topic, this week's topic, which is whose, and whom, and when you should be using which one in different types of sentences. So by the end of this class today, you'll have an improved accuracy when using whose, and whom in a sentence, and hopefully you'll just get it. Hopefully from this day forth, you'll never ever get them mixed up again. So what do I need to know? Well, if you're new to one of my live and interactive classes, this will give you a bit of information about how it works. So if you are participating live, then you get to share your ideas in the chat box. Lots of you have already said that you're grammar lovers and have said hello. Or you can just jot your ideas down on a piece of paper or on your worksheet if you've printed it. You can use the chat box to ask questions, share any ideas you might have, comment on different things, but we must keep it focused on the topic of the class. And you will get a chance to work with other learners in the breakout rooms. But you don't have to, you can stay in the main room, that's entirely up to you. But when you are in those breakout rooms, you're usually with people from all across the country and sometimes all across the world. And it's a really exciting opportunity to bring your own ideas into a small group discussion for a couple of minutes. Now, if you are watching later, then you can share your ideas in the video comments, which should be right underneath this video if you are watching the playback, or you can jot them down on your paper or worksheet. And during the time that we're all in the breakout rooms, then you can share your ideas independently with an adult. And of course, you have the added bonus that you can pause the class at any time to spend a bit longer on any of the challenges. So I think it's probably time now. I think we should get going. Let's go. Can you write a tongue twister with the words whose, and whom in it? Now, if you can use them accurately, great. If you can't, just chuck them in and create a tongue twister. And don't forget to share it in the chat.
You can't stop chasing the dreams of your life just because when you do it, you're going to have to do it all by yourself.
So Daisy has created a tongue twister by saying whose, who, and repeat that 10 times. That would be quite a tongue twister. Kanishk says, who won whose worm was whom? That's a good one. I like that, Kanishk. Well done. Gialala says, Holly's happy who, whose, and whom. Good. Kaylee's gone for something that doesn't make any sense. We call that nonsensical. And she said, whose water's waving, wafting all around. That's as good as any tongue twister I've heard before. Excellent. Now, you can spend a little bit more time after the class if you want to try and create a tongue twister using these words accurately in a sentence, or just whacking them into a tongue twister and seeing if you can practice it and speed it up and see how you get going with that. But we are going to move on to our lesson now. So I'm first of all going to talk about whose. When you see it like this, WHO apostrophe S. So when it's written like this or typed, then it's a contraction, which is a bringing together of two words, who is or who has. And the apostrophe, that represents where one or more letter has been removed. So it should be used in sentences where you mean who is or who has. Now this one is relatively easy, so I'm not anticipating we have too much trouble with this one. So I've got 3 examples for you. It's my mum who's waiting, so instead of who is ready, who's ready, and I asked who's going to the party. There you have it, 3 examples. So this should be relatively easy for you. Challenge 1 is to write 3 sentences using whose with an apostrophe and an S. Off you go.
You can't wait on their affirmation. You can't wait on their approval. You can't wait on their support. Sometimes you just gotta run.
Oh, thank you, Daisy. Daisy says she likes my fairy lights.
But I can't stop running because you're not running. Listen to me, hear me. You can't stop chasing your dream just because somebody in your life is chasing you.
Amina, well done. Who's going to slide down with me?
You can't stop chasing.
Very good. On that water slide, she added. Well done, Daisy. Who's hiding in the cupboard? Who is? Who apostrophe S? Well done, L. So some of you are not quite getting this right, which is good because you're going to learn something today. So remember, your sentence, you could almost change the who apostrophe S for who is or who has, and it still has to make perfect sense. So if you could switch them round and it makes sense, then you're using the right one. If not, then maybe you need a whose, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Oliver, well done. He says, who apostrophe S, who's playing the Xbox with me? And that's a really good one. Who is playing the Xbox with me? Okay, right. What I'm going to do now, we're going to look at whose. So this is the one that some of you should have been using in the sentences that you've just come up with. So whose means belonging to and sometimes of which, but we're not going to focus on of which today. We're going to focus on belonging to. So you need to remember that whose is possessive. That means belonging to. And that means it's normally followed by a noun. So, for example, whose bag is this? She wondered whose turn it was. And it was her whose shoes were muddy. So you can see there that whose is always followed by a noun. And it's showing that the noun is the thing that belongs to the who, to the whose. Okay, so some of you might like to go back to the sentences from challenge 1 and think, did I mean to write whose? Is whose a better option for me? And once you've done that, you can then have a go at challenge 2, which is to write 3 sentences using whose. Now, what I'm going to do this time is go back to this slide whilst you have your go. See if this helps you. 3 sentences, off you go. Ah, well done, Kaylee. She says, whose water bottle is that? Perfect. So you wouldn't say who is water bottle is that? You'd say whose water bottle is that? Because the water bottle is the noun that belongs to the person that is the who. Well done, Krish. Well done, Alex and Nico. Very good. Jack says, whose fart is the smelliest? That's a little bit cheeky, Jack, but accurate use of whose. Well done. Well done, Louise. My horse, whose mane is purple, has escaped. Inea, whose pencil case is this? Perfect. You're all doing a really good job with whose. Now, are you somebody maybe who looked back at challenge 1 and thought, probably shouldn't have been a who apostrophe S, but a whose? Well, if that's you, that's kind of a good thing because it means now you've learnt something. Oh, it's Nico, not Nico. Apologies. Sorry, I've got lots of new learners here today. It's lovely to have you all here. Lots of new grammar lovers or future grammar lovers. We'll soon find out. Well done, Farah. Whose house is this? Right, okay, so what we're going to do now is look at whom. So whom should be used to refer to the object of a verb being a doing word, or a preposition, which is a locating word, like to, from, above, under, behind. Now this one can be quite tricky, it is quite complicated, and Grammar Getters is for learners all the way from 6 or 7 all the way up to 13 or so. Could even go older than that. So it might be that this is just a little bit too challenging for you, and that's fine. Give it your best shot, see how you get along. If you find it tricky, don't worry, you will get a video recording of this class, and if you want to, you can come back to it and practice, that's fine. So when we're looking at whom, the who, the person, performs the action of a verb, while whom receives the action. So it's about the direction of the action, if that makes sense. That's probably the easiest way to explain it to you. We also use it when following a preposition. That's what we prefer to use. So to whom is the letter addressed? So it's following a preposition there, so we would use whom. And also the letter being addressed is the whom is receiving the letter. He saw those whom he loved at his party. So whom is used there because it's the people that are receiving his love rather than the people that love him, for example. And she saw a lady whom she knew worked at the library. Okay, so like I said, it is a tricky one, but if you can have a little practice at this, maybe jot down one of these examples, then when we move on to challenge 3 and we practice writing 3 sentences, it might be a little bit easier for you. So, challenge 3, write 3 sentences using whom. Now, I am going to go back to this screen just to give you a helping hand. And if you're trying really hard but you can't think of any ideas, you can use one of the example sentences and just change some of the words. Good luck and off you go. Well done, Catherine. Very good. Well done, Amelia. Inea, that's brilliant. She is whom he met at the ball, she being the receiver of the meeting of that person.
Everybody who wants to run, but I can't stop running because you're not running with me. Listen to me, hear me. You can't stop chasing your dream just because somebody in your life is chasing it.
Jack says, why should I use whom and not just who? Well, that's a really good question, Jack. And more often than not, you can get away with saying who, but if you want to be grammatically accurate, then you would use whom. And it does give some extra information to the reader or the person marking your work, and it tells them that the who in the sentence, the whom, is the person receiving the action, the verb. They're the object of the verb. So it's all about being technically accurate using whom. Well done, Bav. Louise says, by whom was my banana stolen? Sounds very dramatic, but it's very accurate. Well done, Gia, and good use of the example on the screen to create your own one. Brilliant work, everybody. Okay, so what we're going to do now is pop out into breakout rooms. Now I'll just set these up for us. You should get a little invitation that pops up onto the screen, and you can just click it and it'll take you into a smaller Zoom room with maybe 3 or 4 other people. And it's an opportunity to share your ideas, maybe ask some questions, listen to other people's sentences, correct each other if you need to in a very nice and constructive way. But if you prefer not to, you can just stay in the main room and you can practice and reflect on the sentences that you've done so far for challenge 1, 2 and 3. Okay, the rooms are now open. And you're going to have about 1.5 to 2 minutes in each room.
You can't wait on other people to be what you've been called. You can't wait on their affirmation. You can't wait on their approval. You can't wait on their support. Sometimes you just got to run and look behind you and say, everybody who wants to run, run, but I can't stop running because you're not going to do it. Listen to me, hear me. You can't stop chasing your dream just because somebody in your life won't chase it with you. You can't stop believing in yourself just because somebody in your life won't believe in you. You can't stop chasing the dreams of your life just because when you know when you do it, you're going to have to do it all by yourself.
Hello everyone, right, welcome back from your breakout rooms. I hope they were a great opportunity to share the sentences you've come up with, maybe troubleshoot with somebody else, and maybe you had a really good breakout room where you all shared ideas, and if it was a little bit quiet, then maybe next time ask everybody what their favourite book is or where they are in the UK. So we're going to move on now to challenge number 4. This is a nice easy one, I would hope, at this stage now, after having done challenge 1, 2 and 3. I'd like you to match the correct words with the sentences that use them. Hopefully you've already done this. You might have done it whilst you were waiting, but let's see if we can match them up, and I'll give you the answers in just a moment. Well done, Gia. Well done, Kaylee. Well done, Millie. Well done, Kanishk. Okay, well done, Kushi. Well done, Krish. Well done, Oliver. Well done, Amelia. Excellent. Well done, everybody. Okay, so I think it's probably time now that I just give you the answers, even though you've all got them correct. There they are on the screen for you. So A goes with number 1, B goes with 3, and C goes with 2. Okay, so there we have it. We're now going to move on to challenge 5. It looks like lots, but I think you're going to be absolutely fine. You just read through it, Where the gaps are in each sentence, you need to decide, is it who's with an apostrophe S, whose or whom. Have a go, and then in a couple of minutes I'll go through the answers. So off you go, and good luck.
Sometimes you just gotta run and look behind you and say, everybody who wants to run, run, but I can't stop running because you're not running with me. Listen to me, hear me. You can't stop chasing your dreams just because somebody in your life won't chase it with you. You can't stop believing in yourself just because somebody in your life won't believe in you. You can't stop chasing the dreams of your life just because when you know when you do it, you're gonna have to do it all by yourself.
Well done, Anea and Amelia. Well done, Atticus. Okay, looks like Alex and Nico are done. Who else is done? Who else is giving it a really good shot? Okay, what I'm going to do now is open up the breakout rooms for one last time. So you can go in, check with each other. What did you come up with? Are we all in agreement? Check each other's answers, and then when we come back from the breakout rooms, I will give you the answers. Now, I'll open up the rooms in just a moment, but if you prefer to stay in the main room, you want to spend a bit more time on those sentences, that's also absolutely fine. So the rooms are now open, and you've got about a minute and a half.
Wait on their affirmation. You can't wait on their approval. You can't wait on their support. Sometimes you just gotta run and look behind you and say, everybody who wants to run, run, but I can't stop running because you're not running with me. Listen to me, hear me. You can't stop chasing your dream just because somebody in your life won't chase it with you. You can't stop believing in yourself just because somebody in your life won't believe in you. You can't stop chasing the dreams of your life just because when you know when you do it, you're gonna have to do it all by yourself.
Okay, we're just waiting for everybody to come back from the breakout rooms before we tie up today's class. Okay, right, so welcome back from your breakout rooms. I wonder if discussing your ideas led you to make any changes to the answers you put down on your sheet or on your paper. But nonetheless, I said I would give you the answers, so here goes. Whom did he marry? A Minnie was parked at the curb and Juliet wondered whose it was with an S-E. Her mother, in whom she confided, said it wasn't easy for her. It's about a nomadic storyteller in India named Brahm, who's, with an apostrophe S, preoccupied with Dracula. A willow tree whose branches reach right to the ground, with an S-E. Oh yeah, and Julie Waters, who's, with an apostrophe S, wonderful in pretty much everything she does. Whose, with an S-E, sandwich is it? He's a man whose opinion I respect, with an S-E. The film doesn't necessarily need jokes, but it needs someone who's funny, with an apostrophe S. Who's, with an apostrophe S, done the reading for homework. And finally, number 11, my lucky number, your victim could be the workmate with whom you shared a sandwich. So there you have it. Those are the answers. How did you do? Did you get 11 out of 11? Even if you got 1 or 2 out of 11, that's still really good, because hopefully it means that you've improved. Oh, well done. Look, Louise says she got most right. Inea said she really enjoyed it. Millie, well done. 10 out of 11. Really good. Oh, Jack's asking what was number 10. Number 10 was who's, with an apostrophe S. So who has done the reading for homework. Well done, Atticus, as well. Right, so this brings us now to the final challenge. So again, we're just going to have a little bit of fun like we did at the start with the tongue twister. Can you write a sentence that uses who's with an apostrophe S, who's with an S-E, and whom, so all 3 of them, in one sentence, and try to use them all accurately. And if you're finding that especially hard, you can just work on another tongue twister. So you've got 30 seconds, off you go. Okay, time is almost up. Well done to those of you who are still sending your scores through that got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of 11. And even those of you that just said that you did really well and you're surprised how well you did. So that's a really good achievement. Well done. Oliver's tongue twister is, or sentence is, who's let the cat out of the bag and whom does it belong to? That's a good one. You've got 2 out of 3 there. And you know what they say? 2 out of 3 ain't bad, although that's not great grammar. Okay, so well done everybody for your efforts today. It's been lovely reading your ideas and going through who's with an apostrophe S, who's with an S-E, and whom with you all. And hopefully you're going to take away from this grammar session today the rules surrounding those 3 words, and hopefully you've just had a little bit of fun and like grammar a little bit more. Sam and Max say thank you. How very nice of you. So if you did enjoy this class and you want to come to Grammar Getters in future, every week we do a different aspect of grammar, have a little bit of fun with it, some competitions. Starts on Tuesday. runs for 5 weeks, and if you want a 5-week class pass, then you can use the code Holly5 for £5 off. You can tell your parents that, although I will email it to them. And if not, you can pop by for an individual class as well. You can book just an individual one. Lots of you saying thank you. You are so polite and lovely, all of you. I really do have the best job in the world. Right, that is the end of Grammar Getters. Thank you very much for joining me, and hope to see you in a class soon.